Don't remember.
What's up, guys? It's your boy Kyle. I hope I'm not chewing the mic. So welcome to a new video today. So I have a sit down for y'all today, more for your Q&A. So it's about hackathons. I posted a poll on Instagram where I asked people to ask whatever questions they have about hackathons. And so yeah, most of you responded, some didn't, but I hope I get to answer all questions thoroughly. And if I didn't answer them properly, just feel free to comment down in the comment section if there's any questions you feel like I didn't answer properly, and I'll try to get back to you down there. So let's get into it. So the first question is, what is a hackathon? A hackathon is a competition of some sort. So many times people confuse hackathons to think, if they hear the word hackathon, they think, oh, okay, it's just a room full of hackers. So I also thought the same thing, shockingly enough. But it turns out it's just a competition of developers where people come and try to solve a problem. It's called a hackathon, and then when you're solving the issue, it's called hacking. But sometimes not all hackathons are about developers. So there's actually a case where it's a hackathon and it's people hacking into something. But most of the time that is not referred to as a hackathon. It's called a CTF, which stands for Capture the Flag, right? I hope that answers your question. And the next question being, what type of questions are asked at hackathons? So the type of questions that are asked at hackathons are mainly technical and business focused. So most of the time when you're developing a solution, you are asked on how viable it would be, or how big can the business grow, or how can the business benefit from your solution as developers, right? So that's more business based. So you need to know some business questions. If I'm making this app, what's the scalability of this app, or how can I monetize this application? And in some hackathons, they might not care about the business aspect, but they would like to know the technologies involved. What kind of technology was involved? Was AI involved? Is it data driven? Does it make data driven decisions? Most of those things. So it's mostly technical questions and business questions. All right, the next question is, are hackathons limited to students who are studying in public universities? So to answer that, no. It's not limited to public universities only. So at hackathons, you'll meet a vast number of people. You'll meet people in the industry, you'll meet people who are in private universities, and you'll meet people who are from coding academies such as me. So that is not limited to just people studying in public universities. I would encourage everyone to go to a hackathon because it's not limited to anyone. Anyone is free to participate. Now, the next question is everyone allowed to participate in a hackathon, or is there a criteria that has to be met in order to participate? So most of the time it depends on the kind of hackathon you are applying for. So we have what they call graduate hackathons, so grad hack. A grad hack is for final year students only, so you will not meet any industry professionals who are attending the hackathon. It's mostly students from universities coming to participate, and that's usually a recruitment process most of the time. And then other hackathons is, the criteria might be your idea. So most hackathons, they will ask you to submit your application alongside your idea, and if your idea is interesting enough to the host or the sponsors of the hackathon, you are then invited to come and participate in the hackathon. But most of the time a hackathon has no criteria. It's just about how early you apply, because they are also expecting just the minimum number of people that they can take, right? I hope that answers your question. And then question 4 is, out of all hackathons that you participated in, which was your favorite and why? Explain for 10 marks. It's a very interesting one, but a simple way to answer it is, I hope you guys can see. A simple way to answer it was the Discovery Grad Hack. Solely because that was a hackathon that changed my life, to be fair. It set out a lot of things for me. And because when I was there, the energy that was around me, the chants, like shout out to Pixel Dynasty, the chants that were around me, it was such a cool vibe. We were not stressed. We were having fun. It was more about fun than it was about technical things. You can go check out the vlog if you want to see. To explain in detail, I would like the vlog to explain that because I don't want to make this video too long. So why was it my favorite? Because it changed my life, and it basically showed me that I can do anything that I put my mind to, because we had to change tech stacks last minute. We had to fix cloud errors last minute, which are things that I was never exposed to until that very same day we had to submit. And the fact that we went through it means that I can do anything I put my mind to, right? And then what is your favorite hackathon story time, please? I think I just answered it. But another hackathon I'd consider my favorite was my first hackathon. If it wasn't for my first hackathon, all the other hackathons you've seen me participate in, highly likely I wouldn't have had the same energy. That first hackathon set the bar high enough, or good enough if I can say. The bar was set at a very great level. It was a bar that was able to be reached. It was a bar that set the standard. That first hackathon showed me that hackathons are not all about winning. Even though I won, I know that's kind of hypocritical to say, but I won, but it wasn't about the money. It was about working in a team for me. It was more about how can we collaborate? How can we make something that works? How can we use the skills we have to put our minds together to solve a problem that we've been given? That's how it was for me. And ever since then, the standard for me at hackathons has been to always have fun. So even the hackathons I don't win, it doesn't shatter me. It kind of just says, hey man, at least you showed up. At least you did what you did, because at the end of the day, we would have had a solution that's working, right? The next question is, what's the most amount of money a person can win at a hackathon? I wouldn't say there is a maximum amount you can win at a hackathon. The most I've seen personally was 150,000. That is the most I've seen, but that's not the maximum, because some hackathons are willing to pay $1 million. I have a couple of friends actually, who are doing blockchain. The hackathons in blockchain are mostly from the US, so they pay in dollars. If you translate it this side, some of them are up to 500,000, some of them are up to $1 million. So it's about the type of hackathon and how much money that company is willing to pay, because it's an exchange of an idea with monetary value, right? So yeah, there's no maximum amount of money, but the most I've seen is 150,000. The next question is, are there any other prizes you get for winning except money, like laptops, headphones, and gadgets? Yes, they are. So if you check out my vlog when I was doing it wasn't in the vlog, but in the IT Web Summit, people won laptops. So there's a team that actually won a gaming PC. There's a team that actually won an internship. So you can also win internships as well, right? There's a team that won certifications, CompTIA certifications. And so there's a lot of things that are involved. I have a friend who, in his first hackathon, he won Sony headphones, which are currently worth 8,000 something. So yeah, I would say hackathons do not only compensate through monetary value, but they can also give you gadgets, laptops, or even certifications of certificates that are recognized in the industry, right? The next question is, what happens at hackathons? Take us through the whole process from the moment you arrived at the venue till you leave. Okay, cool. So what happens when you get to a hackathon is, one, you'll get to meet with your team first. You're given about 30 minutes to meet with your team upon arrival. And of course, registration to confirm that the whole team is here. And if the whole team is not there, and for people who don't have teams, some hackathons, they will group you guys into a team, or they'll place you into certain teams. And from that point, you are then briefed about the hackathon. So Whatever host will be hosting the hackathon will tell you about the hackathon, what it's about. They'll show you the agenda. They'll go through the agenda on what will happen at what time is lunch, when you guys will commence hacking, and some hackathons have speakers coming to speak, so you will be briefed on what speakers will come talk to you guys and what would be the next step from that point, right? And after that, you begin hacking. You hack for the amount of days that they've told you. You hack for about 2 days. Even though there's lunch, food is not limited at hackathons, so you can eat at any point in time you feel like eating. Food is always available, at least from the hackathons I've attended. Even though Discovery was virtual, they still made a plan. They sent us Mr. D vouchers, which was very cool of them. So most of the food you saw in that vlog was not paid for by us. They paid for it. So hackathons will by all means try and provide food for you guys to accommodate everyone. And after that, you will go on to the next step, which if it's a geek culture hackathon, we have what we call war rooms, right? A war room is where we go there, you explain your solution to the mentors that are there in the venue. Those mentors will give you feedback based on what you have currently. They'll give you improvement ideas if you're on the right track with what is expected from you, and if you're meeting the judging criteria. And they'll kind of just give you feedback. So you have about 2 war rooms, then you have a final presentation. 2 war rooms. The first one you have private with the judges. The second one you have on stage in front of everyone, and that's usually midnight. And then the next one is your final presentation, which is to the judges, who then judge if your solution is the winner of this hackathon or not. After winners have been announced, the winners will go up on stage, get to speak to the judges, get whatever collaboration, sponsorship that might come. So some people might even get hired out of hackathons. You don't even need to win to get hired from a hackathon. Just you participating is enough for some company to spot you and be like, hey, I might want to work with this guy. But after that, you then leave. Everyone disperses and goes home. And yeah, that's mostly what happens when you're at a hackathon. The next question is, do you need to have a solid background for coding if you want to be a part of a hackathon? Yes and no. Why I'm saying yes and no is because it depends on the hackathon you are attending. Some hackathons, okay, like I said again, it depends on the hackathon you are attending. There's some hackathons that strictly want you to be designing or just pitch an idea without you coding. There's some of them, but that would be told to you in the application process that no coding is involved. We just want an idea. And there's some hackathons where you will get a great team. Remember, this is more about teamwork than it is about your individual skill set, right? But of course, if you want to be an asset in the team, you have to have a very good skill set. I would say, yeah, most hackathons need you to have a solid coding background. Not that you have to be some master of coding. At least know one language, whether it may be front end or back end. Know at least one language. Be strong somewhere. And by strong, I don't mean like be a master. No, just be able to do something somewhere. That way, when you get there, you're not completely lost. Right, so that's why I'd say before even to the first years, if you're watching this, first years on my campus, I would say before attending hackathons, give yourself a grace period of 6 months where you're mastering your craft, you're mastering what you're doing. And after you master that specific language, which is Python or whatever language you're doing where you are, when hackathons open, you'll be able to contribute something to a team, and you'll be able to come up with an idea where you know this idea is actually viable and can be successfully made, right? And the next question is, I am a beginner but would like to participate in hackathons one day. How will I know that I am ready to start participating? I get that question a lot. When do you know you're ready? You will never know actually when you're ready. Because one thing that comes with development that we don't talk about enough is the imposter syndrome behind it. So you always feel like you don't know enough because there's a lot to learn. I would say just master one language. know how to build not a full application, maybe a full backend or full front end in a certain tech stack, whether it may be HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, or Python backend, or Java backend, or C backend. Once you know either or, I think you're ready to go. Because remember, it's not about you only, it's about your team. And I can't stress this enough. I've seen people go to hackathons alone. Some emerge victorious, but some don't. And that's not because the idea was not good. That's because they might have underestimated how much work it takes to actually go up against teams. So get yourself a good team. Get someone who does something you can't do, or get one person. Maybe most hackathons teams are like 5. Get one person with the skill set that's like yours, so there's 2 of you, and then get 2 people with the same skill set, so there's 2 of them, either front end or back end. Then you have one person who's very good at designing and speaking. Speaking is very important in a hackathon because you need to be able to sell your idea. If you don't know how to sell your idea, then you might not win the hackathon, because it's all about convincing the judges. Some judges might know the technical side of it, so don't try to throw in too many technical stuff like they'll know what you're talking about. Just make it sound like a good elevator pitch. And so how will you know when you're ready? You won't know. Just master one language, and when you feel like you're comfortable with that language, as in I can tell you a problem now and you're already thinking of how you can solve it with that language, then in my opinion, I feel like you're ready. And if you're not, just jump in. You'll see. Just jump in. It's your fella con. But then the next question is what do you wish you knew before participating in hackathons? What do I wish I knew before participating in hackathons? Lebang, what do you wish you knew before participating in hackathons? You can be behind the camera.
Okay, so from my side, I wish I knew how to just manage my time. Especially if it's your first hackathon, you wouldn't know how long it would take to build that specific product. You would have trouble brainstorming because it has to be like a new idea, something that hasn't been so just the time management is the hardest part.
Yeah, I think Lebang raised a valuable point. Yeah, time management is important. I think there was a hackathon where the hackathon started at 8, but we only started coding at 7 at night, only because we got sidetracked. But then manage your time. Get there knowing that, okay, we're going to spend about 2-3 hours discussing what we're going to build. After that given time period, we go for it. No more discussions, no more changing of the idea. Stick to the idea, because most of the time you find yourself changing because you feel like that team is something better, or you feel like, oh, they're doing it better. Don't. Your mentors are there just to guide you, right? And then can you join hackathons as an individual? Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. It's the 4th of October right now. I have a friend who is currently at a hackathon, one man, at the Geek Culture Grand Annual Hack. Yeah, he's there, one man. So all the best to Andile. Bring it home, bro. One thing you can't survive without at a hackathon: coffee. Laban, coffee, right? Coffee, energy drinks, Red Bull. So I caffeine. I think caffeine and a team. Caffeine and a team. A team. Caffeine and a team. That's what you can't survive without. And a laptop, guys. But those are basic, so I can't be talking about those ones. You can't survive without caffeine at a hackathon. You can't at all. Your brain stops working at some point, so you need caffeine. I know a friend of mine who doesn't take caffeine at all, and he survived. But I would say use caffeine, guys. You'll be fine. You'll recover. And then how do you manage to get a functional project at the end of the given hackathon duration? Like Lebang said, managing time. You need to manage time. That's the only way you can get it functional. And also, like I said, if you craft your team well enough, you can get it done as soon as possible. So also picking your team is important. It's important. I know we all want to go as friends and homies and everything. Go as homies and everything. It's cool. Just know that if you manage your time, you guys need to at least have something working, because if it's completely not working, that kind of just disadvantages you completely, because even if you do have a good idea, you will not win just because your solution, we are not seeing what you're talking about. You're only talking, you're not showing. So time management, as well as, if you can, some hackathons allow this, some don't. Start coding prior. So before the hackathon, if the problem statement is given, start coding before. Start discussing ideas. Start discussing what languages you use. Start learning, so that by the time you get to the venue, if you haven't started coding, you're not starting from the process of discussing an idea. You're starting from coding, because you guys have been talking about it throughout the whole week, right? And after that one, we have, are there courses you can take to prepare for hackathons, and what are some lessons you've learned from attending them? There's no course, at least from my knowledge, that you can take to get ready for hackathons. It's more of videos like this one, where you just kind of find out what a hackathon is about, and that's how you can prepare yourself, and watching what happens at a hackathon, so the vlogs. And then yeah, that's the only way you can prepare for a hackathon. And what is the lesson I've learned from the hackathons is there's no feeling that you'll ever get like winning a hackathon. You know, when you win a hackathon, it does something to your brain now. It's the only cure for imposter syndrome, I can say. Yeah, it's the only cure for imposter syndrome. And what other lesson have I learned? Time management and collaboration. You know, I'm used to building full projects alone. So when I go to hackathons, I used to get just a tad bit frustrated when people someone is saying this, someone is saying that, was starting to change things quickly. So another important lesson is how to collaborate effectively and communicating with your team. Because at a hackathon, you might start wanting to fight each other. Yeah, it happens. There's teams that fight and they leave the hackathon. And they're like, you know what, let's leave this thing. So you need to make sure that you come there, we respect each other, talk to each other properly, and if you can, ask for help. Ask for help. Don't think you're gonna get through this alone, or don't get there with the spirit of being a sole loser, like, no, we need to do it better than that team. Don't compare yourselves. You guys have different solutions. You guys are different people. Don't compare yourselves. You can't do the same things, right? Cool. And the last question is, at hackathons, do you have to submit a fully functional application, or as long as your backend works, it's okay? You don't need to submit a fully functional application, but it would be points if it's fully functional. But most of the time, some hackathons are just front end, some are back end. So if it's just a back end hackathon, then getting your back end up and running, then that's proper. As long as it's finished to the point where it can show what you're trying to do. And then some features you can say, given the time period and the difficulty of this project, we were not able to add this functionality, but this is what we're looking to add. You know, just cook the charges like that, and then you should be good. And yeah, I think that's mostly you don't need to have it fully working, but getting it fully working is an advantage. Just make sure you don't have nothing by the end of the hackathon, because it's going to be all pointless. Just make sure you don't have nothing. If you can communicate with other teams, they will help you. I think we get so caught up in this competitive spirit that we don't help each other. But with that being the last question, if I didn't answer your question properly, please say it in the comment section. And also, again, thank you very much for subscribing, and thank you for the 1,000 views on the other video. That was very cool. Thank you to 100 and 20 something subscribers. I'm not sure where we're sitting at right now. I really appreciate how much we're growing. If you joined in the period where I wasn't posting anything, welcome to the family. I will be more consistent now. Time is trying to open up, or what can I say? No, my life is more eventful now, so I have more things to shoot. And yeah, thank you for joining. And again, make sure you like, subscribe, comment down if there's anything you need to know, and comment down ideas of more videos you'd want to see on this channel. And yeah, happy hacking, guys.
I don't wanna talk no more, cause I've been getting way too faded. Everything's a slow-mo, oh no, I guess I'm elevated, yeah. Pour it on the rocks, I'm floating.